In this tutorial, we will take our existing simple racing game and we will turn it into a game where you must complete several laps of the circuit in order to win. To do that, you need to have an existing level from a previous Kodu lesson. You can see in my screenshot here that I have a very simple track that consists of a circuit with a path around. I have a red enemy AI racer, and as the green Kodu racer, I will be trying to win the game. It is very important that you have an actual circuit in order to achieve this, and if you haven't got this sorted out, then I will quickly show you how you could fix your level 1 racer. I'm going to swap to Kodu and go to Load World, and I am going to load Racer Level 1. I'm going to choose to edit that. Now there's a few things to be aware of in this particular version of the game. First of all, you can see that I don't have a proper circuit. I've got a start point and an end point. And if I use the object tool and look at my red Kodu, it says when it gets to the end of the path, it then makes game over and ends the game. So this isn't what was asked for in the previous lesson, but some students may have created something like this. If I start the game, then that Kodu will set off. Notice I can control my own Kodu by using the arrow keys. Not particularly effectively there. And when this racer gets to the end of the track by following the invisible red path, then we have game over. So this would be a problem for us moving on to a racing circuit because we need to have several laps. So here is how we would need to start to fix this. First of all, I'm going to use the path tool. I'm going to go to an existing end node and I'm going to choose add more nodes. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to join it on to make a complete loop. And remember, you should always then press escape to come out of that tool. Otherwise, you'll end up creating extra bits of path that you don't want. Now that I have this level, I really should have it ending on the end zone. So I'm going to go back to my object tool. I'm going to right click on this here, and instead of end of path, I need to change that to more on land. The land for my end zone is this black land with the orange base that you can see, number 19. And if I get there, then it should be end of game. So escape to come out of there, and then I should go to home, save my world, racer level 1, and that I'm now going to save. Okay, so I've done what I've said here. I have created and fixed up. It's called Racer Level 1, but I should also rename it and call it Racer with Circuit Laps. So I need to do that now. I'm going to go back to home, save my world. Racer Level 1 is now going to be called Racer Circuit Lap. And I'm going to put in my description, you need to complete 3 laps of the track before the red racer. And I'll save that. Okay, so I'm now set up, I'm ready to go. And what I need to do now is to add in a lap counter. So at the moment I have, when the player gets to the end zone, the black piece of land, it's got win. I'm going to set up a green scoring system to see how many laps I have created. So I'm going to go to world settings. I'm going to come down quite a significant distance to score green visibility. I'm going to switch that to loud labeled, And the text I'm going to put in here is player lap count. Now you might not see exactly this. I'm using an up-to-date version of Kodu, but you might find similar things. It may not let you actually label the individual scores. Okay, so I have set that, and I'm then going to come out of here. And the next thing that I need to do, looking at my instructions here, is that I'm going to change it so that when I get to the end zone, instead of win, what I'm going to do is add 1 to the green score. So I'm going to come back to Kodu, right click with the object tool, and I'm finding it difficult to find that there, so I might just use my hand tool to move out ever so slightly. I'm going to then use the object tool, right click and program. And at the moment I don't actually have anything on this player, so what I'm going to say is when I am on land, and the land type should be black for this end zone, I'm going to do, and I'm going to go to game, I'm going to plus to the score, so I'm going to add on to the score. Which score am I going to add to? I'm going to add to the green score. And how much am I going to add? I'm going to go to points, and I'm going to put 1. So I get 1 point every time I drive into the end zone. Okay, so now I'm going to test that out. And you can see I've got player lap count up in the top corner here. I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to turn around and drive onto the black zone here. And you can see that what's happened is that in actual fact, I'm getting loads of score. It's up into the hundreds already. So I need to escape out of that. I've got some problem. Now the problem that I've got there is that while I'm on that black zone, it is continually adding more points. The way to fix that is to make sure the point's just added once. So that needs to be added to the code. While I'm at it, I'm going to try and fix up and count the number of laps I've gone and turn that into the proper victory conditions. So I'm coming back here. I'm going to use my object tool, and I'm going to say that the green score of +1 needs to have a plus here and happen just once. I'm also going to say that when the score, which score? Well, the green score. Okay, what about the green score? When the green score can be compared and equals, how many laps am I trying to run? Well, I'm going to look at 3 laps. When the green score equals 3 laps, and I'm not going to do anything here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, now, actually I can probably take this, because that's got the correct victory conditions. So I'm going to copy that row. I'm going to come down to 4 and I'm going to paste them in. And then I'm going to replace all of that with game win. Now if I try to run this at the moment, so I'm going to go to escape and run, and immediately I hit that black zone, I became a winner. Now the reason for that is because that's effectively the code I have. I've said, when on land, type black end zone win. But I only want to do that if I've already scored 3 laps. So what I need to do is I need to take line 4 and I need to indent it. I move it in from the side so that this line 4 only gets tested if line 3 is true. So when I've scored 3 green laps, then I can check the end zone for a win. And hopefully each lap is only going to be counted once when I enter that end zone. So if I try that out now, I'm going to cheat again, I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to drive over. There's 1 lap gone. I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to drive back. There's another one. And then I'm going to try and drive round and drive back. Now, you can see that what happened there was that as soon as I entered the end zone, it had 3 as the lap count, and it said I was a winner. So strictly speaking, I would only have had to do 2 laps there. So I do need to fix that for my code as well. Okay, so we need it to be a score of 3. So maybe I need to push this up to getting to 4 before I can check for a win. And I need to do the same thing for the enemy AI. So the enemy AI is going to move and count laps as it goes. And when it gets to 4 laps, if it's then on the end zone, it will then end the game rather than winning the game. So if I just have a look back at Kodu and try to set that up. So the first thing I'm going to do is just fix my points here on the player. Instead of 3, I'm going to say points 4. And then on the enemy, I'm going to say when I am, next let me just fix this here, I'll just change this one. I'll copy it first of all. So I'm going to copy that row and I'm going to paste it in there. Then I'm going to go to end and I'm going to say when I'm on the end zone, I'm going to change it to game plus score. Which score am I going to have? I'm going to score red because it's a red racer on a red track. That is going to go points 1. And it's going to do it once. So that it only happens each time it goes over the end zone. Then I'm going to come down here to my line 4 and I'm going to say when scored. That has now happened on the red score. When the red score can be compared and equal to 4 points, then it will have completed 3 laps and it will be on its 4th run over the end zone. What am I going to do? I'm going to take my line 3 here and move it down and I'm going to indent it so that it only happens when red has scored 4 points. In other words, the 4th time it gets to the end zone and therefore has 3 laps completed. And if I was to escape now and escape again to play, then we should see that the plucky little red racer is going to race around. I'm going to leave that doing that and I'm just going to briefly look at what we have learned and we'll come back and see what have we learned from this lesson. We've learned how to do scoring and you could use that for things like number of lives or how many laps you've done or how much ammunition you've got left. We've learned to use compare for equals, but we could use it for above and below or equal to. And we've used indented code that only runs when a particular condition is met. If I come back here, we can see that we've now got a score of 2 laps. So there's still a little bit of time left for me to explain some things here. You can see this example code. So if keyboard right is pressed, then we move east. But if we have keyboard right moved and we press the space bar, then it will jump to the right rather than just moving to the right. The jump only happens if we are already moving right with the keyboard. So by indenting this, we make sure that line 6 is conditional on line 5 already happening. All right, red has got 3 laps completed. It's now coming up to the end. And when it gets to the end zone, it is now game over. So that's exactly what we were looking for a multi-level game, a multi-circuit